squeeze a car between a car and a wall like that. You didn't have the room.
89, you're a moron.
DJ, we've got some after race stuff. Oh, they're wrecking each other. As we got Laskowski up in the wall. This is Tempers Flarin.
Hi guys, welcome into episode 4 of the Tempers Flarin podcast. I'm here as always with Austin Wheeler.
What's going on?
DJ Daniel, I believe, is making his first appearance on the show.
What's happening?
Lucas Whitehead is here as well, his first time.
Good to be here.
Unrelated, by the way. Pretty cool, though. And Matt Mettler is here as well for his whatever umpteenth time.
Hey, I'm hooked. What can I say?
Yeah, it's pretty cool to be doing this. I know we're doing this one a little bit late. The people at home won't be able to tell. We'll still go out tomorrow, but recording a couple days later than I wanted to be, but it'll be all right. We'll be good. So we'll jump into the overview, as I would say, just the top 5 of both duels. So the first duel saw DJ Daniel winning. I came in second. Cody Tarrant got his third place finish. I believe that's his first top 10 of the season. I could be wrong. Actually, no. I think at the Clash he got a top 10. So first top 5. Chris Wheeler finished 4th. And Austin, you finished 5th in the first duel. The second duel was an absolute barn burner. I don't know how it came down to that finish, especially without any cautions. Lucas, you won over Brock. Ryan Gomes, the rookie, finished 3rd. Chris Papa finished 4th. And Zach Woods finished 5th. A couple of notable things that I noted was that Cody Tarrant was able to go from a 27th starting spot up to a 4th place starting spot for the big Daytona 500 after his, I believe he finished 3rd. Actually, it's not 4th. I believe he's starting 5th or 6th. I think it's number 5th. I should say. My dad, Charles, unfortunately dropped from what was originally his 5th place starting spot down to 29th after wrecking on the last lap and collecting a few people. And Lucas, you were able to advance your spot. You would have started 40th had you not made the duel, and you jumped up. You will be starting 4th in the race this Thursday. And Austin, I just wanted to start with you. How competitive do you feel like the racing was? I know you were in duel number 1, and we had a couple of cautions over there. The second duel went cautionless, but I thought the racing was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, the racing in Duel 1 was absolutely amazing. I mean, we went the first half of it with no cautions, and I don't think the cautions were totally out of hand. I mean, there were mistakes here and there. It wasn't anything too crazy. But it was awesome racing. I mean, battling between me, you, DJ, a couple other guys got up front with us there and was putting on a show for sure. That second duel, that was a lot of fun to watch with the pit strategy. He was getting split up. I think there was only 4 or 5 guys in the lead pack there coming to the white flag. So it was as long as they didn't wreck each other, it was just down to those guys.
Yeah, 4 or 5 guys, and the finish was absolutely fantastic. And both of them, DJ, I know you won the first duel. What was your thoughts on the racing that took place?
The racing was pretty good. It was actually very clean. Besides, how many cautions did we have?
I think we only had 2 actually in 30 laps, which actually it's not too bad.
No, and then we had that unofficial overtime, right?
I believe that was an unofficial overtime. Yeah, so.
But it's typical Daytona. I mean, you're gonna have a couple cautions regardless. People's gonna make mistakes, but it was very narrowed down from what was it, the the shootout.
Yeah, the shootout saw a lot of cautions. But I mean, the racing I feel like greatly improved in the duels compared to the shootout. Lucas, what was your opinion? I know you got the win in the second duel. You didn't get to race in the first one, but so far the consensus is that the racing was much better than it was.
Yeah, the second duel was good as well. I was really impressed with people like that rookie Gomez. Is that his last name?
Yeah, it's either Gomez or Gomes. I'm not sure yet. Well, I'll have to confirm with him.
Trust me, it's Gomes.
Okay, good. Gomes. Yeah.
Gomes. He was good to draft with, and Chris as well. Papa. I worked good with him. And then I kind of just let Joseph force the issue. He seemed like he was in a hurry to get somewhere, so I just would let him go through there and rattle some cages, and I would just slip in behind him and try to get a couple spots here and there. But I thought the pitting and stuff went smoothly. That's normally a big worry. So I think everybody done really well getting on and off pit road. I think that people just had speeding on pit road penalties there at the end, while the pack got like it did, and hopefully in the big race we don't have a similar outcome.
Yeah, I thought the pitch strategy it played a key role in the guys that finished up front. Like obviously you, Lucas, and Brock, and Papa, and all them. It was really cool to see that finish organically work itself out, even with not having any cautions. But unfortunately, that's some things that guys will have to learn that got the speeding penalty on pit road going into next week. And hopefully, like you said, we don't have that, and we have a bigger pack if we end up going cautionless, which that's high hopes, but that's obviously what you want. So Matt, what was your opinion on the racing from your point of view?
So I was in Duel 1, and I thought everyone did a great job, especially applying what they learned from, the shootout. I thought it was a lot cleaner. Decision-making was a lot more decisive, especially early. If they didn't force a situation, they kind of backed off and showed a little more patience than we've seen the week previously. My race was going really well. We were up front, and then Netco decided to pay myself in cash a visit and sent me flying down the track, and I was just never able to recover after that. But to a couple of other drivers' points, pit road strategy was really impressive. However, I don't know if teams just decided to do that on the fly or if that was the game plan. But it just goes to show you, for Daytona coming up, it doesn't matter how fast of a race car you have or how good you are in the draft. If it comes down to a green flag pit stop, that could make or break you right there.
Yeah, and it definitely did make or break some people's races. Like I said, in the second duel, the first one, I believe we mostly pit under that first caution and didn't have to pit again. So that kind of took out the organic part of the pitch strategy and stuff like that. But we'll kind of move on now. Austin, looking at the finishes in both duels, I believe it's actually the first time in Ghost Series history, the Ghost Cup Series, that both finished under a tenth of a second. The first duel went 0.026 seconds, and the second one was obviously an absolute photo finish at a 0.001. What can you speak on? What can you expect that to carry over into the big Daytona race, or is that kind of like a once in a million thing that you would have two close finishes like that in back-to-back duels?
I definitely see it happening again. I mean, with the amount of talent of the guys that are running up front in these races, I mean, pretty much it's going to be whose nose is just in front of the other guy's nose. With the talent, not wrecking each other, just pretty much a drag race to the line. Who's got the push coming off of 4? I can expect to see that again in the big race here this week.
Yeah, and DJ, I know you won the first one. Our photo finish wasn't technically as good as the second one, which was absolutely unreal to watch. Just like speaking on your end, how cool was it to come out on the front end of that kind of a photo finish like that?
It's always great. If you remember a couple years back, I beat you by like 0.003 of a second.
Unfortunately, I remember, yes.
It always feels great to win. Winning's a very special feeling, but I'd rather it be a points race.
Yeah, and I mean, you have that opportunity again next week as well, getting a very good starting spot for yourself. Lucas, I know you obviously also were on the good end of the closest finish in Ghost Cup Series history. We've never had a finish at 0.001 seconds, 1/1000th of a second. How does that speak to your ability at the end of the race to get the job done? Because you kind of came out of nowhere, like you were behind Brock coming out of turn number 4, and you made it happen. So what does that do to your confidence going into next week?
It makes me feel like good about things. Learned some stuff during the off season that I was able to apply in the race that worked out. I was just fortunate that there was a car behind me that I could fall back to get a good enough run to get around them both. This car, when he gets out of the draft, it's kind of like it's got parachutes, so you have to really get ahead of steam before you make a move. And I was glad that we was able to. I was able to door him enough just to slow him down so I could squeak that out. So hopefully in the big race it works out the same way.
Yeah, I noticed that in these cars, you do have to kind of rely on the guy behind you that you can back up to somebody and have them push you to get a run, because I know that bubble is a little bit harder to break this year when you're behind somebody. So getting that extra push, you're able to break it, and then, like I said, get out and side draft as much as you can. And side drafting was also a big key to a lot of things that happened in both of these races, and sure, it will be a big thing in the big race. It's a matter of, if it happens early or if it kind of happens late. You just got to be real careful with it because it can end somebody's race. Metler, what about you? I know you weren't involved in either photo finish, but being able to watch the second one and see the first one probably in the race a little bit after that you were able to watch. Do you expect that to continue on, or like I was asking Austin, do you think that that's just like a once in a million thing, that back-to-back races like that have under a tenth of a second for the finish?
I mean, first and foremost, the draft mastery that was on display in that second duel was absolutely incredible. I mean, that tandem, that pairing, that just goes to show you how important teammates are, or just having the experience with someone else, even if it's not of your team on the racetrack, to be able to pull that off and make it happen. I was watching it on my computer, and I'm like, man, I want to go in the booth so bad now. I was so pumped up after that. Like, that was incredible. I don't think you're going to see it happen at 1/1000th of a second, next week at Daytona. But can it be close? Absolutely. Great talent. A lot of people have really practiced in the off season, put a lot of seat time in to be better. I know I have, and a bunch of other drivers have. You can see it, each time we go out there and ran a heat race or the shootout or the duels. You can see the level of competition just keeps getting better. And I really think we're going to put on an excellent Daytona 500, and can't wait to get there.
Yep. Like I said, when this comes out, it'll be 2 days away, and it already feels like it's that close. The days are kind of going by a little bit slower than I want them to. I want to go ahead and get this thing over with, because you know how nerve-wracking that race is, especially because it could be 2-3 hours long. Even though we're not running as many laps, if there's cautions, I mean, that thing can run on for a little while. So it'd be cool to get it done. For me to speak on the finishes, obviously finishing second again to DJ kind of sucks, but the only thing that makes it a little bit better now is that he's actually racing for me. So it was really cool to see him get the win, even if it wasn't a points
Now you
finish.
know why I'm here.
Yeah, so we're real excited over here at Whitehead Racing, and Brock unfortunately couldn't get it done. And Lucas, you did a hell of a job. I mean, I didn't even think you'd have the time to get around Brock, and you just made it work. And that was the closest finish I've ever seen, and it was insane to watch live. While I was in the race and stuff. So. All right, so this is the results from the first duel. Kind of want to just go down the list and get your guys' most surprising finisher. Austin, we'll start with you first. Looking at this, who do you think was able to, make the most of their duel and get a good starting spot for the 500?
Yeah, I mean, you and DJ for sure. I mean, finishing 1-2 in that duel. I think you guys didn't qualify in the top 10, but with that duel for sure, that's gonna put you up there in the race. So, biggest surprise for not finishing well was, I guess, Christian Bruce. I mean, I think he was involved in a wreck, but majority of the race he was running up front. So that was a little bit unexpected.
Yeah, Roos, I believe, was caught up in the first accident. I don't think he was caught up in this. Oh, he might have been caught up in that last lap crash. I'm not sure, but yeah, I mean, I don't think DJ or I, like you said, qualified in the top 10. DJ definitely had a terrible spot. I think he was mid-20s, and now he'll start. I believe that'll be third for him, because Patrick McQuaid will keep his pole position. So yeah, that was pretty cool to see.
I think I qualified 27th.
Damn. Yeah, that is pretty bad. All right, DJ, obviously, you want to pick yourself for most surprising finisher, but go ahead and give me your most surprising finisher and your least surprising, well, not least surprising, but worst finisher. Most surprising worst finish. That's what I mean.
I think I gotta say Lilith. I mean, it's always dominant everywhere we go when she does race.
Yeah, I can't remember if she was caught up in an accident. Looking at her, it looks like she has 9 incident points, so she probably could have got caught up in both of them.
I'd always be up front, just chilling, minding my own business. And here comes Lilith,
Yeah, she's
blowing
pretty.
my doors off. I thought I saved my tires. Hell no.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that plays out because I mean I know I used to be pretty decent at saving tires, but I haven't been getting a lot of seat time during the off season either. So we'll have to see how that works out. Lucas, who is your most surprising finisher in duel number 1, and who is your most surprising worst finisher?
Definitely. Probably most surprising for worse would be Lilith or Roos. But like you said, it's Daytona. Anything can happen any time. So you can go from winning it to the next week, if you run there again, to dead last. It just is the way it happens. And I guess like you and DJ, you expect to be up there fighting for it. But probably going to say Austin. Even though he's running with me over here, he's showing speed constantly here at Daytona and competitive, and got another solid top 5. So I'm impressed with him.
Yeah, talking about top 5s, this is actually his second top 5 in a row at Daytona. Obviously, we've had the shootout and the duel here. I can't remember. Did you finish top 5 as well in the Clash, Austin, or no?
I think I finished 6th in the Clash.
Oof. So that would have been 3 straight non-points paying top 5 finishes. But
You won the shootout, didn't you?
Yeah.
yeah, he won the shootout and then he finished 5th here in the first duels. So that'd be pretty cool to see you keep up that top 5 streak. I'm not gonna lie. Metler, what about you? Your most surprising finisher in Duel 1 and most surprising worst finisher?
Most surprising finisher for me was Cody Tarrant there in that 3rd place position. He's actually been running pretty strong throughout speed weeks, and I think he may potentially be a dark horse here if he keeps up the great runs that he's having. If he just put it all together, he may be someone that sneaks up there and grabs a W that no one expects. I know we talked about Lilith and Roos and LP, Lilith Peters. I mean, don't forget, that girl is a phenomenal talent behind the wheel, but she had a target painted on her back. She could not buy a clean pathway on that racetrack if she tried. That's why she finished back there. I know Roos kept getting mangled up as well. But probably the biggest shock is Christopher Cash back there in 17th. Yes, I know him and I had a net code incident. There's a driver there that's put a lot of time in this offseason as well. And I thought even though, there was a wreck that happened, he could potentially overcome that adversity perhaps a little bit better. But that'd probably be my pick there in that 17th place position.
Yeah, that's very surprising. Like you said, Cash has done a lot of racing in the offseason, and I mean, obviously you can't translate short track racing, which is what he primarily was doing, into the big super speedway. But I would say out of this list, he's probably had the most seat time since the season, finished up last year, and yeah, I mean, he just got caught up in a couple things. I think he actually wrecked in both accidents. He was wrecked out, and it just didn't go his way. So yeah, for me, I would also piggyback off of you. Cody Tarrant, super surprising to me, but I mean, maybe he shouldn't be. I'm not sure. Talking to him after the race, he seemed very confident in his ability to get it done on the super speedways, and said he said he wasn't nervous at all, and very cool to see him get a good finish like that and take the runs. Because I mean, if I'm not mistaken, he actually left his teammate and team owner Mike Sabanovsky to come up with the run with me and DJ and finish 3rd. Like that takes some massive balls, and he was able to do it and get it done. So for me,
some big buckets on that race car. That's
for sure. Yeah, Cody he turned up the speed a lot, and it wasn't just at the end of the race he was up front. He was up front midway through the race, because I remember him and Mike battling on the bottom with Austin right in front of them with us. So it was a lot of fun to see. The most
Cody actually saved the day for me and you. We were going backwards, and he just knocked the teetotal piss out of me.
Yeah, because it was just us two, and then like I said, he took that run, got behind you, and then that's what gave you the run to get past me. Which, like I said, I said in the broadcast, I didn't care if I won the race or not. So just getting a good spot for the 500 is all I really cared about. My most surprising worst finisher, I would have to say Roos, because he's always up front, and I guess it's not really surprising because most of the time he gets caught up in other people's accidents, but I think it was actually twice he got caught up in people's accidents. No, maybe it was just once. I'm not sure, but not able to keep his good qualifying position. He'll start pretty far back in the field. I believe that's 31st is where that ends up translating to. So that's pretty much it from the first duel, and we'll go look at the second one now. All right, the second duel is up on the screen now for you, Austin, if you want to go ahead and give me the same thing you gave me last time.
Yeah, I mean, look at Lucas winning the duel. You know what I mean? He's gonna be a part-time driver for us this year, and he's definitely gonna share about what he's got on the super speedway tracks here for a good finish there. As far as surprising finishes for not finishing well, I'm gonna have to go with like TJ Roberts and TJ Hanley, both TJs. You know, they are. I've dealt with both of them here at the plate tracks, and they're both really good. I guess the pit strategy must have got to them and separated from the lead pack, but they're going to have a not so satisfying starting spot for the 500 next week.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Both TJs, I know TJ Roberts hasn't raced with us for a couple seasons, but he's usually pretty good at the super speedway stuff. And TJ Hanley's usually running up front, which I believe he was. It looks like he led 4 laps based on what this says. And like you said, that pit strategy, I'm not sure if he got a speeding penalty or whatnot, but it just kind of separated him from the front pack, and he wasn't able to recover because there was no yellows. So can definitely agree with your list there. DJ, what about you? Go ahead and give me the same things.
I think the surprising worst finishing driver would have to be TJ Hanley. I mean, he's always good at plate tracks. You usually expect him to be up front. And my most surprising finish has got to be Zachary Woods, because he tried to stretch it on fuel and pitted and still got a top 5.
Yeah, I believe he didn't pit until 2 to go and only took a splash because that's really all he needed to make it to the end. I mean, that's how close the pit strategy was at the end. I mean, he was half throttled trying to get people that were, far back from the lead pack, trying to help him on drafting and stuff like that. So, yeah, very impressive for Zach to be able to manage that. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to stretch it all the way and make that win happen, but it was pretty cool to see him, attempt that. Lucas, what about you?
I'd hate to. I guess for me, definitely TJ Hanley. He's good at these super speedway tracks. He keeps. He normally doesn't have any issues or anything like that. So I was shocked to see him drop back. I really thought he was going to be somebody I was to look out for to fight with at the end. And I think I'm gonna go with Ryan there in third. I mean, he's a rookie, like you said, and look at him showing up and getting in the top 3 right off the rip.
Yeah, it looks like, I don't think Thomas Fisher was able to be with us, the other rookie. But Ryan and Austin, both rookies, have, they raced really well in the Clash. I'm not sure about how Ryan did in the shootout, but finishing third in the duel, that's pretty solid for these rookies that have just come in, and very excited to see how this plays out over the course of the long season that we have this year. So Matt, what about you?
That's a good question there. I know a bunch of us has already mentioned it, but I'm going to step outside the box here. I'm going to go with Wes Fuller. They're coming in that 13th place position. I've raced against him in other leagues, and usually he's a lot better than that at Daytona or Talladega. So that was kind of shocking to see him coming home outside the top 10. And then as far as a surprise performer there, Zachary Woods, if there is a stretch play to be made on fuel, even if it's minuscule, he will take it. It seems almost every time. So watch out with that move from him this year of the season. He used to do that last year all the time in MSRL. Probably though, Chris Papa, coming in that 4th place position, there's a guy that obviously he's a seasoned veteran, knows how to iRace, but he's been out of, Ghost Cup racing for a couple seasons now. And I thought maybe he would have to kind of get reacclimated to it a little bit, but nope. He's just slid right back in here, and it's almost like he never left. So for him coming home with the top 5, I think that's pretty huge.
Yeah, very big finish there from him. For me, yeah, I'm going to have to piggyback off of you once again for the worst finisher, Wes Fuller. I've had experience racing with him a couple years ago in Ghost, and he took a break for a little bit, but he was always really strong at almost all the tracks we went to. He was pretty quick, but the super speedways was like his his best tracks, and unfortunately, it looks like something happened to him. He finished a lap down and wasn't able to. So I believe he might have been one of the cars that got a speeding penalty and just wasn't able to recover, like I said, because there was no cautions or anything like that. And most surprising finish, yeah, I'm going to go with the rookie Ryan Gomes. Like I said, with I believe it was Austin. It's starting to not be surprising anymore that these guys are running up front. And, maybe they're really going to start proving us wrong. And I can't, like I said, I can't wait to see that play out over the course of the season that we have coming up. So. All right, so looking at the Daytona updated lineup after the duels, we're going to kind of go over the lineup. So Patrick McQuaid, I don't know why, I guess Hubka didn't edit the numbers, so this is going to be kind of confusing. So the first row, we'll have Patrick McQuaid and Brock Whitehead. The second row, we'll have DJ Daniel and Lucas, both in here, both dual winners. Third row, we'll have myself and rookie Ryan Gomes. Fourth row, we'll have Cody Tarrant and Chris Papa. Fifth row, we'll have Chris Wheeler and Zach Woods, rounding out the top 10. Sixth row, we'll have Austin Wheeler and Chris Hubka. Seventh row, Ryan Sizemore, Joseph Grijalva. Eighth row, Dylan Ellis and Brian Cloyd. Ninth row, Mike Sabanowski and TJ Roberts. Rounding out the top 20 will be rookie Robert Gillard and Chris Zofield. Cliff Corvo and Johnny Williams will be row 11. Row 12 is Matt Metler and TJ Hanley. Row 13 is Jonathan Cogswell and Wesley Fuller. 14th, Lilith Peters and Josh Brownlee. And rounding out the top 30 is Charles Whitehead and Thomas Fisher. Row 16, Chris Roos and Caleb Modzaleski. Row 17, Chris Cash and Wesley Jeanette. Row 18, rookie Caleb Collins and Thomas Stewart. Row 19, Ricky Gonzalez, Brandon Zimmerman. And rounding out the top 40, Brandon Richardson and Dustin Hall. And then rounding out the field is Chris Roberge and Dylan McDonald. I believe those last 4 or 6 didn't make an appearance in any of the duels. But so just kind of going off of that list, Austin, who are you really looking forward to having a solid race? And eventually, who would you pick to be your winner for the 500?
Well, of course, I'm going to want myself, to have a really good race and look forward to hopefully being up front there at the end. But it's just going to be whoever can make it to the end is going to be the deal. Pit strategy, not getting caught up in the big one. But pretty much anybody from Whitehead Racing, they're going to be good. You, Brock, DJ, I expect you guys to be up front and battling for it there towards the end.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, we went from 3 cars to 6 cars this year, which kind of doubled our chances to win. I guess you could look at it that way. But now we've got a lot of speed over here, and I'm excited, especially with you guys over at Smoky Mountain. Y'all have always had speed with Chris Cash and Lucas, and adding you and to the mix. And, it'll be a lot of fun to see, the new teams and how they perform at Daytona, because it could be a team deal, that could take place for the first, whatever amount of laps. So. DJ, what about yourself? Besides you, who do you think would have a strong race at Daytona?
I know it's probably going to sound biased, but I'm going to say Brock Whitehead. I think it's how long has it been since he's won a plate race?
I think he won the Talladega Fall playoff race last year, so it's been a little while, but not too long.
I think he's going to put one together here, but I expect us to control the race for most of the time. Right off the rip, you have 3 Whitehead cars on the bottom.
Yeah.
That can a team together immediately can prove to be lethal. So,
yeah.
But it's Daytona. You never know. Obviously we got Smoky Mountain right here, and everybody else are going to try to work together, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Hubka's
wild card.
Yeah, Hubka Motorsports is usually pretty good at sneaking into the top spots, and Mike Sabanowski Racing, or I believe he wants it called Mike Sabi Racing. I'm not sure how he wants it pronounced, but they ran really well in the middle of duel number 1. So we'll have to see, like I said, how all the teams will play out with the new formatted team points to make it a little bit more fair, because I know last year we were going based off of total accumulation of points for all the drivers, but we're just going based off top 3 this year. So that'll make the team championship and stuff a lot closer. Lucas, what about you? Besides yourself, who do you see having a really solid race at Daytona?
I think you always got to look out for Dylan McDonald. Even though he drives with us, Dylan, as long as he can keep a cool head and not get in any trouble and make smart moves at the right time, he's lethal anywhere you go.
Yeah, Dylan going to have to make his way back from 42nd, but he's a guy. If there's somebody that's going to be able to get that done, it's Dylan McDonald, because he's strong at pretty much every track we go to. He's very fast, and it'll be pretty wild to see how he progresses through the field and how quick he can do it. Because I know, speaking from experience, when I kind of got shuffled back in the shootout, I wasn't really able to make up a lot of spots very quickly. So that's changed over the last couple of years with the packages and stuff like that. Matt, what about you?
I think it depends on what type of race we see unfold at Daytona. You know, a lot of these guys that we mentioned week to week, we know they are fast. They have raw speed, but sometimes patience isn't their one of their best assets per se. So Dylan McDonald, to his point, bad, fast race car driver, just about anywhere you go. But a lot of times his temper or something else gets in the way and he'll start to self-destruct. The last thing you know, the fastest car that was leading the race is now sitting last on the scoring pylon. So I really think it just depends on what type of a face, this race gets over the course of the 500. If a lot of the big contenders are in it, the Whiteheads, McDonald's, DJs, Lilith Peters, Chris Papa, man, I couldn't even tell you who was going to win that race. I mean, you've seen what happened in Duel 2. But if some of these bigger names start to get knocked out because of attrition or just force of the issue when something's not there, that can very easily play into the hands of like a Mike Sebanovsky or a Chris Zofield, perhaps.
Yeah, I could definitely see that playing out. Cautions can definitely take away the time that you have to be able to get to the front. So, you could have 70-something laps to go, and then if it's just a caution fest after that, trying to get from back in the pack up to the front is, unless you're, getting through all the wrecks and there's a couple big ones, it's going to be real hard to make your way up there. I feel like it's a lot easier making up positions, racing under green, gaining spots on pit road. That's kind of my thing. But if this thing ends up being a caution fest and I can't gain my spots on pit road, if I end up falling back, then it's going to be real hard to get back up to the front. Yeah, for me, looking at the list, I mean, obviously Patrick McQuaid, if he can start this thing off pretty strong, this season, I've got him as a championship favorite. In my top 4, I believe I had him in my championship 4. So I have to actually revisit my playoff predictions. I kind of don't even remember him. It was a couple weeks ago. But I think Patrick, as long as he keeps a level head and is able to, keep all the wheels on it and keep it straight, then he can probably get it done and put together a really solid race. So.
You asked me about the rule changes, and I know it was kind of breaking news development over the course of the week, but, the HMFIC, Chris Hogba, decided to implement some interesting changes to the rule book here right before we start the season. Now it looks like you're really starting to crack down here, perhaps on aggressive driving. Not only now, if you cause a caution, do you have to get, an EOL, but if you do it twice in one race, you cannot qualify next week, and that's over the course of the season. So that can have huge implications, especially on racetracks where qualifying is critical. But then if you go 3 for 3, if you get 3 in a row, point exactly. So we'll just have to see how that all plays out. Just wanted to see what your guys' thoughts were on it. Me personally, I think this could have a very unique effect at Daytona, because what do you have to do there to go fast? You have to bump draft. Well, this new rule change is probably going to be on everyone's mind. So if, you're in a train or you're trying to make a move and you see, said driver in front of you and you're like, oh crap, I can't push them. How does that affect, the energy out there, the runs? Could that enhance the amount of crashes we see?
Yeah, I think for me, when it comes to cautious racing like that, like you don't want to, I guess you could say it's more realistic, but I think whenever it's just going to cause more stack ups, honestly, I think it only negatively affects the racing at the super speedways, especially, when we get later on in the season, we race at Talladega, and if somebody, had a wreck caused the week before and the week before that, so they're already 2 for 2. And then if they do another one at Talladega, they're not going to be anywhere near the pack. I don't think they even care about winning at that point. They just need to avoid not getting that third one and getting suspended for 2 races. So I think, like I said, it only negatively affects the racing at Daytona, and it could cause more stack ups. We've seen a lot of stack ups, lines checking up and stuff like that in the duels and everything, which wasn't too bad. It didn't cause a lot of yellows, but it was a lot of, hitting each other kind of hard if you didn't expect them checking up. So we'll just have to see how that plays out at this track. But I think it doesn't really affect the racing anywhere else, because other places, if we get green flag runs, you're spread out. And unless you're, green, white, checkered going for the win, you're not really going to be in a position to cause an accident unless you slip up because of a loose car or something like that. So like I said, I think it only is going to affect the racing that's going to happen on Thursday, and then we'll hop right back into just normal, like we won't even think about this rule unless you've got actions caused. Austin, what about you?
Yeah, I think it might directly affect short track and potentially road course races. I mean, you think about when you get the pass done, most of the time it's going to be outbreaking somebody, kind of showing your nose, and then you're relying on the person you're showing your nose to either one, give you the line you're looking for, or if they don't intend to, who's going to be at fault there? Is it going to be a racing incident? Are you going to get a EOL for trying to get the position there? So it's definitely going to be interesting to see. The reason this is going to be highlighted for me for sure was during the clash. I think I was running fourth, and I was trying to get position on Gomes. I mean, you know how the clash is, so small, braking zones tight. I had to run off the corner and stuck my nose out there, but he didn't give me the line, and you're already committed, But I ended up getting the EOL because I caused the wreck. Other than that, I don't know how you can really. A track that small, it's hard to get a good run off the corner to have a better position than what I did to get there. So it's definitely going to be interesting on the short tracks for sure, and potentially the road course stuff.
Yeah, speaking to your point, I wasn't even thinking about stuff like that. If you look at so we got Daytona, then after that is Vegas and Auto Club. But then you go to a Richmond, and then the week after you go to a Chicago Street, and then the week after that you go to the Milwaukee Mile. So that's prime position. If you mess up, both, one time in all three of those races, then you're getting suspended for the next 2 weeks at Kansas and Dover. I mean, there's a lot of short tracks, way more road courses on this schedule. So that's early in the season. That's fourth, fifth, and sixth race of the year that you could have issues with, and it affect you with this rule. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up, Austin. I didn't even think to look at those races, and now that I know that that's coming up pretty quick, then I'll just have to kind of dial back the aggressiveness just a little bit. So Lucas, what about you?
I think I like the rule personally. It's like that in other leagues that I'm a part of. One thing that he should consider adding, though, that we do have in other leagues is there is an appeal process. Like if you feel like, and you can record the clip and submit it, and then, you could have a panel, of a guy from each team, or however you want to do it, and vote on if it should be upheld or if it needs to be overturned. I think that would help as well, but I don't think it's really going to be an issue going into this first race at Daytona anyways, because you may cause one wreck, but you don't want to cause nothing or get in a wreck, because you're going to drive cautious if you get caught up in one, because you lose a fastie, and you that's crucial. But definitely though, if you're getting yourself in trouble later in the year and you roll up to a Talladega again, or like you said, a short track, if you're not careful, you could get yourself in some hot water fast. But I think if everybody just works on car control and learning a little bit of patience and trying to make passes other ways, it can make for some really good, clean racing and some long green flag runs.
Yeah, speaking on your point, I believe this season we're doing one fast repair per race. I could be wrong, but I think that's what the standard is that we're set at. So, yeah, I mean, obviously you want to drive cautiously if you if you don't want to lose that fast repair, but also you do have to worry about this rule as well. So maybe that'll protect some drivers at Daytona and stuff. I just think the stack ups is just going to get worse because people don't want to slam into each other. If the line stacks up, I can get right up on someone and not worry about it. But if I think it has the ability to be worse than what it is, and I don't want to cause that accident, so I'd be backing off a lot more. So that just gives me more of a drive to get up front and stay up front and not have to worry about everything. So, but that's pretty much all I got. I appreciate you guys for coming on. I mean, this was only about a 45-minute episode, and I think that was pretty good timing. Austin, I know you're getting ready to go run an A fixed at Daytona here in 40-ish minutes. So I don't know. Maybe I'll join you. We'll have to see. So, but like I said, I appreciate you guys for coming out, and this will drop on obviously Tuesday. So 2 days away on Thursday, the February the 15th, I believe is what it is when the Ghost Cup Series takes to Daytona, and we have some fun there. So, like I said, thank you guys for coming on, and we'll see you guys next week.